Jazzcast Pros.
Happy damn New Year. You made it through the holiday season. It's over. It's 2024. Party done. Officially. Happy damn New Year if today is just another day for you. Here we are. You made it too. This podcast episode, the very first of the year, is all about New Year's resolutions. We are going to dive deep into what they are, where they come from, why they make sense, why they may not make sense, and, really making the best choices for who we are, where we are in this journey. What do our resolutions look like? What do our decisions look like with a lens of mindfulness? Happy damn New Year. Welcome to Healthy Illness Podcast, a podcast helping you to build healthier relationships while living with mental health conditions. I am your host, Kelly Marie, and it is 2024. What? We made it. I know you know somebody, if it's not you, but I know you know somebody who is like freaking out because they made a resolution and they're trying to keep it and they're causing themselves more stress trying to keep a resolution that they actually don't need to keep. Like, who said you had to do that? Why are you forcing yourself and putting yourself in this place to be stressed out, to damage yourself in relationships that you have? Relationships with people, relationship with finance, relationship with money, relationship with the environment, relationship, period. Like all the relationships, to hold on to this quote unquote resolution that you don't have to keep. Like, this is not a law of humanity that we have to make and keep these things. You are not unsuccessful. You are not a poor human being if you make a resolution and don't keep it, nor are you required to even make them to begin with. And listen, happy damn New Year if you are struggling to keep your head above water. You're not alone. It's okay to feel how you feel. And if you need help, there's someone always available to listen. If you're that person, if that's you, if you're struggling right now, you can dial 988 on your phone or 988 in your browser, just 988, and you will get the helpline. Someone is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including on the first day of the year. Love for you to like, subscribe, and share this podcast, all of the podcasts on the Jazzcast Pros Network. Big shout out to our producer, Jazzy T. She is making the magic happen. And listen, if you are interested in starting a podcast, there's no time like the present, right? Our season this year is all about mindfulness and being judgment-free and embracing the current moment right here, right now. And if podcasting is something that you're interested in, contact Jazzy. Ask her questions. Set up a one-on-one. See if it's something you want to do right here, right now, or maybe later. It's all good. So one of the biggest reasons that I do what I do is because of my story, because of me not having the kind of resources that I needed when I was starting out my recovery journey. And I didn't want anybody else to feel the same way. I didn't want anybody else to have the same gaps in being able to ask questions and have answers that made sense to them. And if there is something I can do to help someone live a healthier life, I'm here for it. And so that's where Healthy Illness comes from. That's where Front Seat Life LLC comes from a place of healing, comes from a place of living the journey and sharing the experience along the way. So please head over to frontseatlife.com and sign up for our newsletter, which in all honesty, I haven't sent one out. But when I do, you want to be on the list. Today's podcast is all about New Year's and New Year's resolutions. Happy damn New Year. We made it. After my Christmas tirade last week, I thought that it would be great to dive into this whole New Year's resolution process, why I think they are the absolute worst things we can do. But then, I started to challenge my perspective. and really think about New Year's resolutions. I wanted to know where they came from, why we're here, and why we make them every year, and why we don't keep them. Listen, did you know 45% of Americans set New Year's resolutions, and only 8% of that 45% keeps them? I don't know what that number actually is. If you can make that math, let me know. I'd love to know in the comments what that looks like in the millions of Americans making New Year's resolutions. 8% keep them. I'm always looking for the why, right? Like, why do we do that? Why is that a thing? And why do I have to do it? Why? So why do we set New Year's resolutions? Yes. I mean, on the surface, because it's a new year, it's like a fresh beginning, new start, all that kind of stuff. But there were three founding groups, I would say, of this thought around New Year's resolutions, New Year's principles, New Year promise keeping. And the first is the Babylonians. So the first group of people that ever are recorded as setting New Year's resolutions or making these New Year promises were the Babylonians about 4,000 years ago. Their New Year, which many cultures, their New Year started in March with the planting season. If you think about our seasons, we start the New Year in the middle of winter when everything is dead. It's not a natural fit to the New Year. So the original calendar that makes the most sense for being a human, the period is the planting season, right? It's the weather has changed, the days are longer. You are planting seeds. It's a new year for growth and development. And so that was the new year during that time. Again, this is the ancient Babylonians. Then after the Babylonians, Julius Caesar, when he kind of redid the calendar and made January the beginning of the year, the connection to the god Janus, January, Janus. The belief is that Janus inhabited doorways and archways. And so the new year with Janus inhabiting doorways and archways, Janus looked at the past and looked at the future and weighed your life accomplishments, etc., based upon this look into the past and into the future. And then the third group were the Wesleyan Christians, who started like watch night service, which is popular in a lot of Protestant churches and Black churches. And this thought of, again, New Year's resolutions, the year ending, a reflection on the past, a look towards the present, and setting these resolutions, these solutions, these promises to self and to God on being a better person moving forward. So those are like the three cornerstones of this like thought process around New Year's. We talk about New Year's resolutions. I'm resolving, I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to save up $10,000. I'm going to pay off all my debt. I'm going to be vegan. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to, do all these really huge things. And when you think about it, it's like, no wonder only 8% of Americans are able to keep their resolutions. Because if you're not built that way, it's a setup for disaster, right? Like we are setting ourselves up for failure by simply putting into action, putting into words and voicing, writing, whatever, these I will never or I will always statements. We're people. We're like, it is so tough to always do a thing. So for me, I resolved to do things like, and so let me just, I don't make resolutions anymore. But in the last couple of years of me making resolutions, I started making resolutions around giving up this always mentality or this never mentality so that I would be winning. Because I know me, I'm not keeping no resolution that I'm going to lose X amount of weight or I'm going to only eat vegetables Monday through Friday. Like, it's just not, that's not me. So if that's you, high five, you got it. Not me. It is not most people. And so there's exceptions to every rule, right? But in this thought process of making these resolutions, I would do things like, okay, my resolution is I'm not dieting this year. My resolution is if I go to the gym, I'm going to do something fun. I started changing the conversation internally, right, around resolutions, around what I was promising myself, because I knew I was setting myself up for failure. And so I thought about, like, for today, like, what is the definition of a resolution? What does it mean? Like, just for me to get a better understanding of this process for that we all go through and we talk about, we hear about it. And I'm like, boo to that. Only boo to that if it's not your thing. If that is your thing and you are one of those resolution keepers, and it doesn't stress you out to keep the resolution, because that's the other thing, and I'm gonna get back to my point in a second, but that's the other thing, right? Like, some of us, we get so stressed out. I wanted to really look at the definition of resolution. So I'm just gonna read this quick definition of resolution, and it's all gonna make sense to you, but I had like an aha moment when I was reading the definition. So the first one is a firm decision to do or not to do something. A resolution makes sense. Also, though, the action of solving a problem, right? So in the verb tense, the action of solving a problem, it's been resolved. We have come to a resolution, a decision on this thing. And then the last one, I was like, oh, aha, word. That is actually a definition too of resolution, is clarity and detail of the image, or the sharpness of the image when it comes to technology. Like, what's the resolution of your camera? What's the resolution of that image? And so how do we look at that, or at least for me, right? How can I look at that in this lens of New Year's resolutions? How can I be sharper? How can I be clearer, right? How can I be a more detailed, higher resolution version of me in whatever form that is, right? And so that's where my mind went once I read that definition and that technology piece of it, but also the solutions, right? Like, what can we resolve to do, not by way of setting these lofty goals. And again, time out. You grown. Whatever you do. Right? I am just here to shine some light on some other ways to do things, which may or may not work for you. So for me, though, because I'm not setting no resolutions, no way. First of all, I believe that there's no time like today to resolve to do something. There is nothing stopping me or you from becoming a better person today, from healing today, from, I know today's the 1st of January, but you know what I'm saying? Why we gotta wait. Cardi B, a month or two ago now, basically said she wasn't waiting until New Year's to resolve her relationship with her ex, and that, it wasn't going to be a New Year's resolution type of situation. And that's mindfulness. Being in this moment, not waiting for the next, not judging the past moment, not judging this moment, but just being here, making whatever decision you're making, accepting that decision in this moment is mindfulness. And so I decided to take this time and take this definition of this sharper image of the detail of me, and look internally on me, my healing journey, which is my everyday life, right? It's not like a separate part of me. My healing journey is my life, and live in this judgment-free space of breathing, of being, and allowing myself the grace and understanding to accept when I still judge. Like, don't judge the judging. Just let it be. Look at it, think about it, like, oh, that is what I think about that thing. That's interesting. Why do I think that thing about the thing? And is that the thing I want to think about the thing? Right? Just being, just accepting that space, accepting that time, accepting that moment, that thought, that emotion as what it is. It peels off a layer of stress, physical stress even, but emotional stress, mental stress. It peels off a layer of stress when we just accept. It doesn't mean you have to like it. We're just accepting that is what's happening when we begin to switch to this mindful focus. And so what does that mean in this new year, right? Like, what are your resolutions? What have you resolved or promised to do to you, for you, to others, for others? What have you resolved not to do to you, for you, to others, for others? Because wherever you are, whatever you decide to do, however you maneuver in this new year resolution space, when we apply mindfulness and take a step back and just allow it to be, I think it shifts how we see it, right? But also can shift what we resolve to do. And so I want to invite you to apply like this mindfulness lens to your resolution process. And what that means is accepting, non-judging, and being where you are, who you are. It doesn't mean you have to like the situation, but it is accepting that the situation is what it is. Can you make changes to it? Sure. That's not what we're not even talking about that part. That's a different part of the experience. The mindfulness piece of it is just being. And so I offer to you an opportunity to, instead of resolving to have these concrete solutions, concrete promises around things that you may or may not even have control over, incorporate those things. But the resolution is to be kinder to yourself around your thoughts and your actions. Be more gentle to yourself. So that judging piece, right? Be more gentle, just accepting that is, judging happens. To be more loving to the person you are and more forgiving of the person you were, and be okay. Be accepting. Doesn't mean you have to like it, but be accepting of this moment. And in this moment, you can set yourself up to accept the next. So there you have it. Happy damn New Year. And so if you need help with knowing where to call, you can dial 211 and you can get nationwide assistance on resources in your area. And if you are in need of someone to talk to, please dial 988. 988. Please dial 988. That is the national talk line. Someone is there to answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The calls are confidential. They're free. You can call for yourself or for someone that you care about that is in need of help, in need of someone to talk to. Until the next time, in this new year, a new way of doing things, in this new light of being, in this new part of your journey, this new chapter, this new everything, I encourage you to resolve. So your resolution for the year, resolve to promise to find the joy and find the light. Be the joy and be the light.